Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Once again, my name is Temilola, and on this channel, we always speak about how you can find your way to Germany as a student or as a worker. Today is also a story time that you can also benefit from as a student, as a worker here in Germany. And it's all about how I almost relocated back to Nigeria 2023 after my master's study. I know this would be like a surprise to so many people that knows me because they'll be like, I can't even believe Lola had this plan. Even though some people might think, yeah, it's okay, she can if she wants because of my husband, right? But then some people will be like, no, we never thought of that. But then that was actually the truth, which I want to tell people today, even though I'd already told some people that are close to me. And they were like, wow, it was actually a nice idea that people could benefit from that. They would love me to make a YouTube talk on it. So the reason I'm making this video. Okay. So it was sometimes back in 2023, December. I'd already finished my master's program June 2023. And at the time, I was even in Nigeria. I had my final defense online. And I came back to Germany, I think around August. Yeah, August, thereabouts. Then when I came, I got my 18-month visa. So I'm practically no more a student, but then I have my work seeking visa. So I was I was somewhere around December. I knew December that year was for me to clock maybe 5 months or 6 months out of this 1 year visa, right? This 18-month visa. But I was so much optimistic about everything about me, my future, my present, and the moment I was living at the time. I thought to myself that I do not want to go for any lager job again. When I mean lager job to me are these jobs that are tedious, that not everyone could survive, even though I survived it, but at a point I knew it wasn't for me and I don't want to do that any longer. So I don't even want to start my 2024 with that lager job. So I had to like re-strategize, replan, sat myself down. I know at the moment some people might be in the same situation that I was back then, or some people might be in the situation very soon. It's actually not a very bad situation, but it was just a situation whereby you have to know what you want and you go for it. I had the opportunity to go back to Nigeria and start something I would love to be doing, right? And I know some people too, they might also have same opportunity. But for those that thought, oh, they do not have such opportunity, then this is not for you. But then if you feel this is something you can create an opportunity from, then please do well to listen to the end because you're going to benefit from it. Okay. So that 2023 December to be precise, I said to myself, I'm not going to start my 2024 January with lager job. And mind you, at the time, I was working, and where I was working, I only had 2 month contracts because it was with a research institute, which I love so much. Even though the job too, it wasn't a lager job. Let me just put it like that. But then it's like semi lager, if there's anything like semi lager. So, but then I won't call it a lager job. December, I decided to be so strict with my decision. And I was being strict in the sense that I talk to God because in everything you do in this life, you also have to involve God. I don't know what your faith is, but whatsoever your faith might be, I believe you still believe in something. So I believe in God so much, and I had to like put everything in his hand. And I told God, I said, I'm not going to start my 2024 with a lager job. Instead of doing that, these are my own plans. But let your own will be done in my life. And my plans were by December 25, 23. Sorry, just pardon that sound of aeroplane moving. I think the aeroplane should be going to Hanover Airport because my city is not so far from Hanover, and my window is opened somehow. Okay, so that is that. Okay, so I told God, I said, God, let your will be done in my life, but at the same time, as human, I'm going to make my own plans and my own, not will, but my own plans. And my plans are, now I have my 18 months, and my 18 months is going to end somewhere, I think November or December 2025 or 2024. Yeah, 2024. That's now in early 5 months or late 5 months or 6 months thereabouts from this 18 months. And by December 2025, if I do not have something cogent that I will start doing by January 2024 as a job that I'm going to be pleased with, then I am going to leave this country and go to Nigeria and use my time judiciously. I'm going to spend my time so well. I was doing so many things before I left, and I will go back to them and do them. I told God that, I said, all I know and I care for right now is that I don't want to start my new year with any lager job. I was so hungry to my spirit making that declaration and making that decision. I told God that. And mind you, I was working in that semi-lager job place, though it was a research institute, but what I was doing with them was helping them with some samples because they always have this project every year and they will need someone that will help them for that 2 months. So I was working with them September, um, October and November, and my contract would end. And my contract already ended, right? November. So December I was home doing nothing. So I was just trying to like add more value to myself by learning some other things off the internet, through the internet. So I was doing that. So by the time December 25 would come, I'd already also prayed to God. I said, God, these are my plans. But at the same time, I need to even know if I'm on the right direction, if I'm on the right path. Because, like I said, you just have to pray to God. Nothing comes by your own strength. It's all by God, I believe. I don't know about other people's belief, and I don't want to talk about belief or no, or I don't want to talk about being religion now, right? So I said to God, I said, if I am not going to get any job before December 25, I am going to book my ticket December 25. And meanwhile, I'd already talked to my husband concerning this, just him only. I never told my mom, my dad, my siblings because I don't want to carry them along. I don't want to involve them. I just want it to be between my God, myself, and my husband. And that is it. So I also prayed to God. I said, God, I'll be having series of interviews back to back to back to back. So it's not as if my CV is not seen. It's not as if my CV is not captivating enough. It's not as if nothing good is being seen about my CV. So what is the problem? I knew one problem, which is the language, because I'm not fluent at the language. Even till now, I don't speak the language so much. And the reason I always bang on it that please, if you have the opportunity, learn this language because it's going to make life much, much, much more easier for you than you could imagine. Seriously. So that one aside. So I told God that. I said, I don't know. At this time, I think you have to bless me with something that will not require the language, number one. And I will learn this language at my own pace. And my own time. Then reroute my journey. If where or places I've been setting my applications to are not the ways you have for me now, let me go through the route you have for me at this point in time of my life. Even though if I would still go back to that route, but the route you have for me now, let me know. And I remember that spirit telling me that, why don't you go for PhD that would allow you, that will be as if you are working. And I was like, PhD that will be as if I'm working as how? Like, I don't get. How am I supposed to have a PhD that will look as if I am working? I don't know. So I remember I went to one of my mentor here in Germany, and that is, I'm going to mention your name. Pardon me for mentioning your name, and that is Dr. Evans. So I went to him and I told him that, please, is there any PhD that will look or be as if someone is working, or can someone work while doing PhD? I remember I asked him that question, and he said yes, you can work while doing PhD, but it's not too advisable because PhD is a lot on its own, and it might stress you out. But there are some PhDs that you get this contract to have your PhD as if you are working, and those ones are like research assistant. And I remember a lady too in um my house back then too. She too, she's also doing her PhD now. I asked her, and she said, oh, that is the type of PhD she is doing, that she found it on Indeed. And I said, oh, on Indeed? Are you kidding me? I got a very bad job on this Indeed, and I promise that I will not use it again. She said, oh, no, that there are a lot of good jobs on Indeed, that she got her present position on Indeed, and she got it as a research assistant and automatically doing PhD, but being paid for it and being seen as an employee of the university. I said, wow, that is aligning with what my spirit told me. Then I asked her, please elaborate more, and she explained everything to me. And I went on my Indeed page. I did everything she asked me to do, which I'm going to tell you to, which is just simply focusing your research, your search areas to where you want. Like, I put research assistants there. And then every jobs Indeed will be updating me with where research assistants, different ways, different departments. So you have to wait until you find that one that suits your knowledge or your background. So the first one I saw, and mind you, all this I did around October, November, right? So the first one I did was University Freiburg, and it wasn't really tallying with my background, but somehow, like, when you have course of studies, there are some major of your background, and there will be some level that will be minor of your background. So I would say my background falls to the minor with this advertisement, but because I love it, it was all about entrepreneur. Then I said, let me just put in for it. So I did. And the second one application I'll put in for is the current one where I work. All glory be to God, all thanks be to God, and those that advise me rightly, right? Okay, so I did that. So after doing that, I just leave everything to God's hand. And you remember, I prayed to God, and I did not say me, I hear from God, but I want to believe everyone hear from God, or maybe we listen to our instincts. So I remember that spirit told me, go for a PhD that will look as if you are working, even though I do not know what that really means until I went to those that already have their PhD and doing PhD, and they were able to explain to me that we have different types of um, PhD, which I'd already made a video on. You can either have it through your through DAD scholarship, um, employee like my own, being employed by the university as a research assistant, or through industry that has different topics to work on, and they want to employ you to work for that duration of project time. Okay, so that was that. So when I had this interview December. So the first one, they only got back to me by email, and they said they will later get back to me, which they did not. And this second one, they got back to me by email too, and they asked me if I'm ready for, if I could give them time for an interview scheduled for, I think December 19. I think that December, I think that December 19 was on a Friday or Wednesday. I wasn't so sure. I think on Wednesday, yeah. But then they had an interview with me, and they said they will get back to me by January. And I said, okay, no problem. The interview went smooth. It was so nice. I love those people that interviewed me, which are now my two bosses. Nice people, I must confess that. So I had the interview, and that was that. And mind you, they told me they'll get back to me by January. But I wasn't okay with that fact. And I went on my knees. I said, God, my plans are still remaining, but let your own will be done. If these people are going to give me this job, they have to get back to me latest Friday, because next week is Christmas holiday. And remember, 25th, I'm booking my flight. I know it's going to be expensive, but I don't care. I'm booking for my flight and I'm leaving Germany. And I will still go back to the plans I have if I had gone. Okay? So, luckily for me, God heard my prayers, and God knew He wanted me back here in this country, because He has a lot of plans for me. He has a lot of plans for us. We just have to wait for God's time and allow God's will to be done in our lives. So, they got back to me the second day, which was on a Thursday. These were the people that said they will get back to me January 2025, right? So, they got back to me the second day, and they said, congratulations. I screamed. I screamed, yeah. I screamed that my now boss was even saying, calm down. I know you are happy. Calm down, calm down. I said, you don't know what God has done for me. You are telling me to calm down. Who is calming down? I bet let me shout. Oh my, shout. Anyways, so that was the joy. So I did not go again. That was how I didn't travel, or I didn't relocate back to Nigeria again. Okay, so these were the plans I had if I had relocated back to Nigeria. My plans were that I'm not going to totally forfeit all the hard labor here in Germany, because I must confess I don't labor for this Germany. That lager job like this, those lager job I did, I cannot trade it for anything. Oh. I must carry my crown from those lager job, because those lager job really dealt with me. They were not anything I thought I would experience in this my life. But I did it because I just have to, because I cannot afford to stay at home not working. I'm not the type. I want to be up there. I want to be up and doing. I cannot sit there, and I love money. I love money. So I need more money. So I have to. So and you remember the law, I said after 5 years you can have your German passport, you can do this, you can do that. Even though the law, I don't even understand the way the law is working, but that's not even my problem. I'm not stressed about that. So my thinking was that, okay, now my 18 months, by December, my 18 months was already, like 6 months was already spent out of my 18 months. And thanks to God, within that 6 months of out of my 18 months, I got a job. So that was it. But then the plan was that if I come back to Nigeria, I'm not going to stay in Nigeria more than 6 months. While I will be in Nigeria, I'll be looking for jobs online, just the way I've been doing. Having some interviews, if I could do them online, and for those that could not allow online interviews, then there's nothing I can do to it. I'm not in Germany, and I can't travel to Germany because of interview. Was that if I go to Nigeria and I start with all those businesses I was doing before I left, that I will go back to them full time, bumper to bumper. I will invest in them with the support of my husband and the little I have. That I'm going to invest in my business so well, and then I will not stay in Nigeria more than 6 months, just for me to still have a valid visa. Then I will come and stay for like maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, then go back to Nigeria. That Within those time, if God still says Germany is your place, then I will get a job that will allow me stay. And mind you, like I said, all those hard labor I'd done will not go in vain. I will get my PR, either PR or I'll get my German passport. And so the second alternative was I told God I will register for house building, and I will be doing my house building. And any holiday like this, I go home, right? And this house building is going to be in the area of entrepreneur because I love business. That I'm not going to do all these major house building that are so known. I'm going to do the one that people doesn't even think about so much. But these are the things I love doing. It could be how to make hair, even though how to make African hair is different from German hair. But then I will learn that just to have the house building certificate, while I learn that in Nigeria so much to add up, and I will make my business start in Germany. So those were the plans, right? So I hope with this explanation, I know this video is lengthy, but it's just to advise and encourage people out there that if you're done with school, mm, and things are not going the direction you expected or you thought, do not give up. There are a lot of plans and opportunities you can explore. And do you know one thing? Even this lager job that I was just complaining about, it's just because of me. Hmm? You might not think in the direction where I was thinking. You might continue doing it while you are still trying to make ends meet. But in that wise, I will always encourage people, please go for house building. If you cannot go back to your home country, not even necessarily Nigeria now, if you cannot go back to your home country to be shuffling Germany and your home country, it's better quickly switch to house building and let this house building be the type of house building you really love to do, not because you saw people doing it or you find your friends doing it. Because house building is going to be paying you. So with that, you know that your stress is focused to one side. Your stress are not divided to job and work, to job and schooling, right? So it's going to be focused on you're going for house building to get your training and you are being paid for it. So I hope with this story of mine, you are able to get one or two things that could also help you to move further in Germany as a graduate or as an intending graduate so you can plan ahead. All right, so please do not forget to like, to share, to comment. Please comment. I want to see your comment, and I want you to comment if on anything you want me to speak about in the next video. And also, I want you to please subscribe, share this platform, friends, with your families. Let them learn from this channel. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.